Okay, so cutting out these channels here, these brackets here. Okay, one thing I forgot to say a while ago is that, as you can see out here, how I've done this one, that piece that there, and then right here, what I do is I got a sharp chisel and I just cut this straight across. So that's what I'm going to do there. And then this piece, you just get a punch and put it right in here and knock it down and bend it backward that way, so that you do not have to cut it all the way out. This piece here, very easy on both sides. This side's screwed up a little bit. You can kind of see it sticking out a little bit. So the welds didn't break on this side like they did on the other, which I figured they probably wouldn't. But so I highly recommend, so for when you cut this bracket, or cut this side, that side, the outside of the door, when you cut that, stand on the inside of the door. When you cut this side, stand and work from this side of the door. Same thing here. When you're doing this side, cut from here. When you're doing this side, cut from outside. It just gives you a lot more visibility. You can see where you're going, see where you're cutting, and it just works a lot easier that way. So, got that piece done. I'm pulling this track out now. The window channel, the piece that holds it onto the regulator. I got to redo it, and then I'm also going to grease it up and get some oil into the mechanisms, into the regulators. I'm not replacing the regulators. They're working just fine. I mean, they're making some noises and stuff like that, but the way I see it is this original stuff is way better than any of the reproduction stuff that I'm running into from anyone, anywhere. So I'm just cleaning this stuff up and reusing it the best that I can. I'm trying to restore them the best that I can. It's a lot of tedious work, especially on these door mechanisms. Obviously, there's a lot to that you can mess up, but a lot that was built, you know, in the 50s much better and much more intricately than they do today. And so anyway, that stuff is staying in my doors as far as I'm concerned. I'd much rather have it in there. So I'm getting that part done, and then I'm going to slide these windows in. I've got the glass ready to go. I've got I promised you guys that I would show you the felts as well, and so here's what I've done. I've got them out, and they were folded up, which is just absolutely absurd to me. I can't believe that they do it that way, but then again, what do you expect? So what I'm using is just kind of using my anvil with a rag on it to bend it around, you know, and make my corners fit right. Actually, I wasn't using a rag. I was using this glove with some rubber on it, and so this glove with the piece of rubber on it, putting it on here and bending it around the way that I wanted it to fit, and then walk over to the car, see the angle, see if that works, come back to the anvil, bend it up some more. Anyway, a lot of back and forth, but if you want it to look right and fit right, it's worth the extra time to spend doing that. As you can see on my other side, I did spend the time doing that. I took the time to do all of that stuff, and it still doesn't, you know, it's still not perfect, but to me that looks pretty darn good. That glass looks good. So anyway, working on this next step here. I don't know if I'll make another video or not for the putting this in. Well, I probably will, just because you gotta kind of see how to screw the regulator in and that kind of thing. I'm sure everybody's that's watching this has probably done one of those, but just in case, I'll record that piece, and that'll probably be it for this glass. And then when I get my new quarter glasses in this week, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll do a video of that as well. And then my rear seats, man, I was at the upholstery shop yesterday. I spent several hours up there with the guys that are doing the upholstery, and they came to the determination that they would like for me to find a couple of seats like I have for the front for this rear, and see first of all how well they would bolt up on their seat tracks, which we're not going to do, but they wanted to see as far as the height goes, how high is that going to be compared to the rears, and will that work? Mostly what they wanted from those rear seats though was the foam, so that they can make 4 covers for the 4 seats, and we'll yank that foam off, make some wooden whatever you want to call it, the forms that will go on top of this, the seat bases, make that, and for the back and for the seat itself, make those, and then somehow stretch that, or not somehow, but stretch that fabric around our frames and our bases that we have made, and make the rears identical to the fronts. And so that's yet to be seen. I found a set on Craigslist for $70, and so worst case scenario, I'm out $70, or I can once we, we're going to tear these things apart, trying to figure out if they're going to work or not. But yeah, worst case scenario, I'm out $70, or I can try to figure out how to put them back together and sell them to somebody else on Craigslist. So anyway, that's kind of the next steps here. I'm going to get the glass in, this week, hopefully. I'm going to start putting the dash together, which means I have to calibrate the vintage air and figure out what I'm going to do for inside AC vents. And then hopefully by next weekend we're laying carpet and taking the next step in the interior process. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll keep you updated on the next steps of the build. Thanks for watching, guys.